So uncool, man. You're the one who decided to rescue her and now you're just like, never mind, bye.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Leanna if you're new, and welcome to episode 27 of Makeup and Mythology, a series on my channel where I do my makeup and also tell you an ancient myth.
So last time we covered a Korean folktale called The Tale of Shimchang, about a girl who jumped into the ocean in the hopes that her sacrifice would restore her blind father's eyesight. Also in that episode, I got to talk about a South Korean filmmaker named Shin Sang-ok who had a very interesting life and made not one, but two films based on the tale of Shimchang. This week we are covering an Inuit myth/legend, and that is the one of Sedna, the goddess of the sea and marine animals. Thanks so much to D. Seasley for this suggestion. Let's get started. So firstly, the Inuit are a group of culturally similar indigenous peoples of the Arctic. So basically northern Canada and parts of Greenland and Alaska, Denmark, and Russia. Within the Inuit, there are many different ethnic groups. In the past, the term Eskimo was commonly used, especially in Alaska, to describe the indigenous people of the Arctic. But over time, that word has become offensive and unacceptable to many because it was forced upon them in a colonial way, which we do not like. So the lesson here is to not call anybody something that they didn't say you could call them. So the goddess Sedna, the star of today's show, has many names. In Inuktitut, the Inuit language spoken in the central and eastern Canadian Arctic, she is known as Sana or Sidney. In Inuit mythology, she is known as the Mother of the Sea or Mistress of the Sea. She is often depicted with the head and torso of a woman and a lower body of a fish. She looks like what many of us would consider to be a mermaid. There are many different versions of her story. One of them goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Sedna who lived in the Arctic with her parents. Her father was a skilled hunter, so they never went hungry, and overall they were very happy. Sedna was comfortable living at home. It was normal for a woman of her age to get married, but Sedna didn't want to. A lot of guys wanted her, and lots of suitors asked her parents for permission to marry her, but she was like, ew, no, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. I don't want to marry any of you. She was like, none of you are going to be able to provide me with food and shelter and warm furs to wear like my father can. So bye, I'm not interested. She was a bit of a daddy's girl, it seems. So this cycle of guys coming to Sedna's house and asking for her hand in marriage, and her rejecting them pretty much immediately, happened for a while. Until one day a certain man came to visit, and maybe there was something different about him. Maybe his muscles were especially bulging. Maybe he was very, very handsome. Or maybe he was especially charming. Whatever it was, there was definitely something different about him, because he managed to convince Sedna to marry him. He was like, hey girl, I know what you want. I know what you like. I promise, with me, you'll never go hungry. You'll have so much food to eat. You'll have so many furs to make clothes and blankets out of. It'll be a good time. I promise. And she was like, all right. Good deal. Let's do it. Turns out all along she just wanted somebody to take care of her. And honestly, as much as contemporary societal standards push women to be independent and take care of themselves, I high-key just want to be taken care of too. No, you know what? I want a career, but only because I really, really want it, not because I need to have it. I remember my history teacher in 10th grade kept telling us how rich her husband was and how as soon as she didn't find joy in her job anymore, she would quit because she literally didn't even have to work just because her husband was that well off. She was just there because she wanted to be. And I was like, that right there is where it's at. Last I heard, she's not working there anymore. So yeah, Sedna was like, hell yeah, I'll marry you, baby. And he took her to his private island. Like, damn, okay, fella's got his own private island. Not bad so far. But wait, there's a twist. When they got to the island, he actually revealed to her that he was not a man, but in fact a bird dressed up as a man. In another version of the story, her dad actually gave her a sleeping potion so that the Birdman could just take her away. I guess he was sick of her living under his roof. What a snake. In another version, she was actually kidnapped by the Birdman. Whichever way, Sedna ends up on this Birdman's island, and I'm literally just envisioning Bird Person from Rick and Morty. Okay, side note, this is probably like my 5th time doing blue eyeshadow. I'm worried that I'm doing blue eyeshadow too much, but I like it. And you know, goddess of the sea today, so I thought blue. I don't know. I need to start being a little more creative with my makeup looks. But anyway, yeah, he revealed to her that he was not who she thought he was, like when Megamind revealed to Roxanne that he was not a handsome nerd named Bernard, but a blue dude with a big head. And just like Roxanne in that movie, Sedna was like, you didn't think I could actually love you. Yeah, Sedna was pissed, but like, honestly, who wouldn't be? She got lied to and swindled.
Not only did he lie about how he was a bird, he also lied about how he was a good hunter. He was not a good hunter, and the only thing that he could hunt was fish. I feel like if he was actually a good hunter and was able to provide food and furs for Sedna, I feel like she would have been okay with it. Maybe. In the version where she went with him willingly, that is.
So yeah, for very good reason, Sedna was very furious, and she was trapped on the island with this weird-ass bird person, and she got very tired of eating fish every day. Some time passed, and Sedna's father decided to come and visit her on the island. In the version in which he gave her a sleeping potion and allowed her to be abducted, he came to the island to rescue her probably because he felt guilty. Or maybe he found out the handsome man was not a man, but in fact a bird, and he was like, ew, I don't want my daughter to be married to a bird. So anyway, he came to rescue her. Sedna's father saw that she was very unhappy and that her husband had lied to her about who he was, so her father killed the birdman, and he and Sedna headed home in his kayak. The bird person's friends found out about this and wanted to avenge him, so they flew above the kayak and they all flapped their wings really hard, which brought on a huge storm, rendering it nearly impossible for the kayak to stay upright. Sedna's father was super scared that the storm would fill his kayak and they would both drown, so he made a jerk move and he decided that it would be best to throw Sedna overboard and make a run for it for his own life. So uncool, man. You're the one who decided to rescue her and now you're just like, never mind, bye. Sedna's dad is a little bitch. We don't like him. Now Sedna wasn't going to go down without a fight. She was like, excuse me, dad, that's very rude. So she held on tightly to the side of the kayak and refused to sink into the sea. Now fearing that she would capsize the kayak, her father decided to cut her fingers off with his axe, one joint at a time. So freaking rude. And so she sank into the sea. From her finger joints, a bunch of sea creatures were born. Fish, seals, walruses, and whales. At the bottom of the ocean, Sedna became a powerful spirit and became known as the goddess who controls all the animals of the sea. In a different version, Sedna is a giant, the daughter of the creator god Anguta. And I read on Wikipedia that she attacked her parents with a great hunger. So I interpreted this as her being power hungry, but I think it might just mean that she was like literally just really fucking hungry because she was a giant and there wasn't enough food for her to eat or something like that. Honestly, same. I get kind of hangry. So yeah, with a great hanger, she attacked her parents, and Anguta was really fucking mad, so he took her out to sea and threw her over the side of his kayak, and she sank into the underworld. I find that in a lot of cultures, the underworld and the sea are closely associated, so I think that might also be the case here as well. Also in this version, sea creatures spring from her finger joints. In yet another version of the story, Sedna hates all her suitors that her parents pick out for her, so much that she willingly marries a dog, and that leads to her dad being super mad at her and throwing her into the sea. As messy as fake eyelashes are, I'm never going to buy those $98 magnetic eyelashes. They're just not worth it. In the version where Sedna is kidnapped by the Birdman, her dad comes to rescue her while the Birdman is away, and the creature is super mad, so he calls to a sea spirit for help. The sea spirit locates the kayak and creates huge waves to kill them. In this version, her dad still throws her overboard in the hopes that this will appease the angry sea spirit, and he chops off her fingers, just like in the other versions. Literally so rude. I just can't get over it. It's consistent in all the versions that he kills Sedna, and whichever way this story is told, it's meant to convey how Sedna came to be the goddess of the sea. So I'm not 100% sure of the extent that she's still worshipped today, but in the past the Inuit hunters wanted to appease her so that she would continue to allow her sea animals to make themselves available to the people. There are a few different things that people have done to worship her. That includes throwing offerings into the sea, but also there are a few taboos they must follow to keep Sedna happy, one of which is that when a seal is killed, it must be given a drink of fresh water, not salt water. If there's a period of time where the hunters don't catch anything for a while, then a shaman will transform himself into a fish and swim down to the bottom of the ocean to appease Sedna by combing her hair and putting it into braids. This is thought to make her happy because she can't do her hair on her own because she lost her fingers because of her snake dad. We don't like him. So that is it for today. I really enjoyed learning about this myth, and I'm hoping to do more myths from different indigenous cultures in the future. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!